Sebastian called already. Don't worry about me. If someone comes through my door, they will be exiting without body parts that I assure you they will likely miss. That is, if they manage to leave. There was a click of metal as Winter tapped one of the many swords and knives that decorated her apartment, all of which were as razor-sharp and carefully weighted as they were polished and well-presented. There was no need to say anything more. She had this under control. Reassured, I hung up and tossed the phone on the table. "Winter's fine," I said, then got back to my story. They were missing and the trail was cold. We had no idea who was taking them until they made a fatal mistake. They took a witch. A witch? Were they just collecting supernaturals? I shook my head. No, they were hunting were-animals, for sport, and people paid a lot of money for the privilege. The witches were just for entertainment. Asking a level 1 witch to perform magic equivalent to the tricks that a children's magician or cruise ship entertainer does is insulting to them. It's about as insulting as someone wanting to keep one of us as a pet, or hunt us like natural animals. I gritted my teeth at the thought of the pain and indignity. The way these people wanted to treat us was sickening. We weren't novelties for the pleasure of others, and anyone who tried to do that to me would feel the consequences in the sharpness of my claws and teeth. I closed my eyes as I tried to calm the anger running through me. "David and Trent ask Josh to perform magic all the time," Skye said, sounding a little embarrassed. I opened my eyes and gave her a half smile. "Josh isn't that easily offended. Besides, he likes Trent and David. Somebody had to, aside from Skye. I certainly didn't have time for her nosy, gossiping neighbors and their shallow, self-indulgent lives." "Who took the witches and the were-animals?" Skye asked. "Ronan Everest. We still don't know how he found out about us and why he went the route he did. I guess he'd planned to find success in the underground entertainment industry. He gave hunters the opportunity to hunt animals that were smarter than the ones you find in nature. We had no idea what he was going to use the witches for, other than entertainment. He knew enough about were-animals and our dynamics to know to go after the smaller packs. They didn't have the same resources as the larger ones. I'm not sure that he wouldn't have become more confident and tried the larger packs. The smaller packs could have been practice." "You were able to find his location by tracking the witch's blood?" I nodded. I could still remember the smell of it in my nose as the hunt picked up speed, hurtling toward a violent confrontation. "The witches were more than happy to help us do it." Skye hesitated for a moment before her next question. "Is he still alive?" I shook my head. "Nor are any of the people who thought it was okay to hunt us. They had deserved everything they got, and I'd relished my part in delivering it." "You think it's a copycat? A friend, maybe even someone who worked with him in the past?" "It seemed as if he was working alone. He'd had a few hunters help capture were-animals, but they were just work for hire, not part of his plan." "What happened to them?" "Chris is what happened to them. She's dedicated to her job and even more so to the reputation of hunters. Others working for humans and ultimately hurting people in the other world wasn't good for business. She can be ruthless when crossed." Satisfying as it was to remember how that had ended, thinking back on it filled me with a sense of dread. We had been vulnerable. We had lost good people, and we had almost lost many more. The whole pack had been at risk, and now it looked like it was happening again. Except that now the stakes were higher. It wasn't just my pack at risk, it was Skye, the love of my life. If these bastards thought I'd fought hard before, they hadn't seen anything yet. I kept expecting to hear from Sebastian. As alpha of our pack, he would be planning how to respond to this latest crisis, gathering information and coordinating our resources to deal with whoever had revived the rogue hunt. But another hour passed without the phone ringing, while I paced the room, fists clenched, teeth gritted, my raging emotions stirring my body into a storm of untapped energy. "Sebastian should have called by now," I said. "Something's wrong. I have to go see." I snatched my phone off the table and headed for the door. Skye grabbed her things and started to follow, a movement which stopped me in my tracks. This was meant to be about keeping her safe, not leading her into danger. "Skye, you can't go." Ethan